of this mortgage instrument that has all this subprime loans behind it. I need to see a sample of the loan files, which are on tape in the modern era, so that I can look at the credit risk. Pretty radical request, huh? What does it get back? In case you didn't read it right, it's in all caps with triple exclamation points, right? It would be totally outrageous to evaluate credit risk by evaluating credit risk. We don't evaluate credit risk. We're a credit risk rating agency. We get paid for it, but the last thing in the world we want to do is evaluate the real credit risk. Because if we evaluate the real credit risk, what's going to happen? It ain't going to get a AAA, folks. It is going to get, at best, a single C. Can I sell it without the AAA, or at least a AA? No possible way I can sell it, right? But notice, it isn't just the rating agency that never looks at the loan files. Who else never looked? Most investors don't have it. Investors in this context means the people that bought the toxic mortgages, pooled them, and created these CDO structures. So they, too, bought a pig in the poke. So overall, this is the financial don't ask, don't tell. And why do you not ask and not tell? Remember, that was Standard & Poor's, the largest of the rating agencies, and it was in 2001. And everybody agrees that the quality of the CDOs got much worse after 2001. So they were already in the tank in 2001. This is a non-random date, November 2007. The secondary market in subprime and Alt-A has collapsed. Ain't no more CDO deals getting done. We're not going to lose any fees. So Fitch finally looks. You have to imagine a British accent when you get to the word disconcerting. Okay, truly that would be disconcerting, right? We look at the files, finally, and we find evidence and fraud in nearly every file. Yes. How far from a AAA is a completely fraudulent CDO? Right? It is the opposite end of the spectrum. So this isn't making a little error. If anybody knows Yiddish, this is Farblanget, right? Farblanget is you're trying to go from Chicago to Kansas City and you suddenly notice that all the signs are in Spanish, right? That's Farblanget. That's what these supposedly most sophisticated, although no one really thought rating agencies were terribly sophisticated, but certainly the investment bankers bringing this stuff that also never looked at the loan files. Because what happens if you look at the loan file? You can't sell it. You can't buy it. You can't rate it. Then you have knowledge. Remember, in legal jargon, scienter, right? Like as in, oh, I knew it was worthless and I sold it. And it's in my files because I've done the underwriting. That is, put your hands out, let me put the handcuffs on you. So you don't look, you don't ask, you don't tell, you slap a AAA rating on it without ever looking, you get a ton in fees, everybody gets a ton in fees, everybody gets rich for a while. Now, what has to happen to a CDO in which nearly every file is fraudulent? This is why these things are trading at 20 cents on the dollar. But banks aren't recognizing losses at 20 cents on the dollar. They're saying, we don't like that market. Right? This is the valuation question in part. Notes the second paragraph as well. The lenders would have discovered these frauds had they simply looked at the loan files that they were creating themselves with any normal underwriting standard. Right? So the fraud began at the beginning, or as we say, with the originator in the origination, right? And they didn't, because Fitch isn't going out and hiring private detectives to do this review. This is just a file review. They're opening up the loan file and finding that the frauds are obvious on the face of the loan file. So these are not clever frauds, because there was no reason to be clever. It was a sure thing, right? Now, this is a very self-serving one, but we've done Fitch and we've done S&P, so we might as well do Moody's, the other part of the triumvirate.